Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be uncovering the true story of Nikola Tesla.
Yeah.
I mean, a name that's pretty synonymous with genius, but maybe shrouded in a bit more mystery than you realize. We'll be drawing from excerpts of a YouTube video titled The Real Story of Nikola Tesla, Best Nikola Tesla Documentary,
Okay.
from the channel The Life Guide. So get ready for some aha moments.
I'm ready.
Because Tesla's story is way more than just a science textbook chapter.
It really is. And he's a fascinating figure. His life, his inventions, his rivalries.
Yeah.
It's a really exciting story.
Yeah. So let's start with his early life, right? So Tesla was born in 1856
Right.
in what is now Croatia.
Yeah.
So not American born, as some people might think.
Right.
But what's fascinating is the role of his mother, right? She had like an exceptional memory. She
Yeah.
would memorize entire Serbian epic poems.
Wow. That's incredible.
Yeah.
There's got to be some genetic predisposition for mental acuity there.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, this isn't just a fact.
Right.
Tesla could speak 8 languages.
Oh, wow.
So, that kind of points to this remarkable capacity he had
Yeah.
for absorbing and processing information, which obviously played a role in his invention.
For sure. And, it's not just the language, too. He also had an eidetic memory.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah. He could remember everything he saw.
That's incredible. Okay, so tragically, Tesla's brother died when he was young, which was obviously
Right.
deeply impactful for him. And some people believe this might be connected to
Okay.
the whole flashes of light thing, which
Right.
is where he'd visualize inventions in their entirety.
Yeah, I mean, that's an interesting thought because, those flashes of light,
Yeah.
he described them. It wasn't just like a daydream.
Right.
It was like complete mental images
Really?
and in such detail that he could test them and refine them without building them.
That's wild.
Yeah. It's like prototyping in his mind.
Yeah, like a built-in laboratory, I think.
Exactly.
No. Okay, so, I mean,
Yeah.
even geniuses face challenges. Tesla excelled in school.
Right.
But he ended up dropping out of university.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His path wasn't always easy or straightforward, but, he did eventually land a job with the Continental Edison Company
Oh, yeah.
in Paris in 1882,
And this is where he
where he really started to shine.
started to hone his skills with dynamos and motors and
Exactly, yeah. He was so good at troubleshooting, in fact, that they sent him all over Europe
really.
to deal with issues at various Edison installations.
Oh, wow.
And this is what eventually led him to America.
To Edison Machine Works?
Yep, in New York City in 1884.
All right, so this is where we get to the
The Clash of the Titans.
the legendary rivalry.
Tesla versus Edison.
Yeah, Tesla and Thomas Edison. But it's interesting.
Right.
It started with mutual admiration. I mean, Edison even praised Tesla's work ethic.
He did.
What was it at the root of this infamous clash?
Well, the core disagreement was really about what type of electrical current
Okay.
should be used. Edison was championing direct current, or DC, where the electricity flows in one direction.
Yeah.
Tesla, on the other hand, he was all about alternating current, or AC,
Okay.
which changes direction periodically.
Okay. And so why was Tesla so convinced that AC was the way to go?
Well, there were several reasons. AC could travel much farther with less energy loss,
Okay.
and transformers could be used to change the voltage.
Okay.
So think about it. If you're trying to power a city using DC, you would need power stations every few miles
Oh, wow.
because of the energy loss over distance.
Okay.
But with AC, you could transmit it over much longer distances.
Interesting.
So it was much more practical, for a large-scale power grid. And Tesla, he saw that
He recognized that.
right from the beginning.
Okay. So Tesla has this revolutionary idea that could transform how electricity is used. And this is where the story takes a turn, right? Didn't Edison famously promise Tesla a $50,000 bonus?
Yeah, there's this famous story, right, where Edison offers Tesla this huge sum to improve the efficiency
Of his DC generators.
of his DC generators.
Yeah.
And Tesla, being Tesla, he rises to the challenge
Yeah.
and succeeds.
But then when he goes to claim his reward,
Edison says it was just a joke.
oh, come on.
Yeah, so this incident,
Really rubbed Tesla the wrong way.
yeah, it reveals a side of Edison that, clashes with the image of the benevolent inventor.
Yeah.
And whether it was a calculated move or a misunderstanding, it definitely fueled the rivalry.
Yeah. Tesla was understandably furious.
Oh, yeah.
He quits Edison Machine Works,
Right.
determined to pursue his own path and prove that AC is superior.
Exactly. And this is really the beginning of this epic battle that we know is the war of currents.
Oh, the war of currents.
Yeah,
All right, so Tesla sets off on his own.
he does.
What were his next steps? I mean, how is he going to bring AC to the world?
Well, he spent about a year trying to start a company
Oh, okay.
to develop his ideas. But the business world, it's tough.
Yeah.
And especially for someone like Tesla, who's so focused on the innovation, right? So his investors, they actually ended up seizing control of the company and his patents. So
Wow.
he was in a really difficult spot.
So how did he bounce back from that? That's a pretty...
It's a crushing blow.
Yeah.
But he was resilient, right?
Yeah.
He didn't let it stop him.
Yeah.
And so he continued working. And his work on this innovative AC motor
Okay.
eventually caught the eye of a new investor and led to the creation of the Tesla Electric Company in 1887.
And this is where things really start to change.
Yeah, this is pivotal,
This is where George Westinghouse enters the picture.
Exactly.
Right.
So in 1888, Tesla presented his AC motor at the American Institute of Electrical Engineers.
Okay.
And among those in the audience was George Westinghouse, a major player in the industry.
Okay.
And he saw the potential.
In Tesla's invention.
He recognized it immediately. He saw it as the key to building a complete AC system that could actually challenge Edison
Wow.
and his DC empire.
Yeah.
And this partnership, this is going to change everything.
This is where the war of currents really heats up.
Oh, yeah.
Because Edison was not one to back down
No,
when his
yeah.
dominance was threatened. How did he respond?
Well, he launched this very public campaign to discredit AC, and he resorted to some, pretty questionable tactics
Really?
to portray AC as dangerous. He even went so far as to publicly electrocute animals,
No.
including an elephant, to really try to scare people.
That's disturbing.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that even brilliant minds can be driven by some,
Yeah.
not so noble motivations. But Tesla and Westinghouse, they pressed on. So they needed a way to demonstrate the safety and effectiveness of AC on a grand scale.
No.
And that opportunity came with the 1893 World's Columbian Exposition in Chicago.
Exactly. The exposition was this amazing chance to showcase all the latest technological marvels to the world. And Edison, he actually bid to light the fair.
Okay.
But Westinghouse, with Tesla backing him, he underbid Edison and secured the contract.
Wow.
So it was a gamble.
Yeah.
But they were determined to prove that AC was the superior technology.
So they had the stage,
They did?
they had the technology, and
Yeah.
they had a point to prove
Absolutely.
what happened next. Was the exposition a success for Tesla and Westinghouse? Did they manage to win over the public and establish AC as the future of electricity?
Oh, it was a resounding success. I mean, they illuminated the entire fair.
Wow.
With AC, it was spectacular.
Yeah.
And you have to imagine, this was the first time people had really seen
Yeah.
the power of electricity on such a grand scale.
It must have been mind-blowing.
Oh, absolutely. It completely dispelled those fears that Edison had been putting out there, trying to...
Still.
And it showcased the potential of AC
Yeah.
to bring light to cities everywhere.
So that was a major turning point for them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And kind of a blow to Edison's campaign.
For sure.
So did this lead to wider acceptance of AC?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, this success paved the way for Westinghouse Electric to get the contract to build the first hydroelectric power plant
At Niagara Falls.
at Niagara Falls based on Tesla's designs. So this was monumental.
Yeah.
I mean, they harnessed the power of nature to generate electricity.
And transmitted over long distances.
Exactly.
Using AC.
Using AC, and it really solidified AC as the standard,
For power distribution.
the system that we still use today.
That's amazing to think about. I mean, that pivotal moment can be traced back to Tesla
To Tesla's vision.
and his unwavering belief in AC.
Exactly.
But the story doesn't end there. So we know that Westinghouse faced some financial difficulties later on.
They did.
How did Tesla respond when the company that had championed his work was on the verge of bankruptcy?
Well, he demonstrated incredible generosity.
Yeah.
Tesla was never really driven by personal gain.
Yeah,
His focus was always on advancing science and technology
to benefit humanity.
for the benefit of humanity. So he tore up his royalty contract with Westinghouse.
No way.
He did. He gave up a potential fortune
Wow.
to help the company stay afloat.
That is incredible. I mean, he sacrificed his own financial well-being
He did.
to ensure that his inventions could benefit the world.
Exactly. I mean, that says a lot about his character, right?
It really does.
And his commitment to progress.
Yeah. And his fame continued to grow. He had numerous patents, for things like neon lights,
Right.
bladeless turbines, early X-ray technology,
Yeah.
the Tesla coil. But despite all his brilliance, recognition often eluded him.
It did.
He he seemed to constantly be battling for acceptance of his ideas. Why was that?
Well, it's complicated, right? I mean, Tesla was a true visionary.
Yeah.
Often decades ahead of his time.
So it was hard for people to grasp.
It was. I mean, take his concept of a world wireless system, for example. At that time, people were barely wrapping their heads around wirelessly transmitting messages.
Right.
And Tesla's talking about a global network that could handle everything. Communication, energy distribution, timekeeping, even navigation aids.
I mean, that is it.
It was mind-blowing.
Yeah, that's overwhelming.
Yeah, for a lot of people.
Yeah, in the early 20th century.
Exactly.
It's like trying to explain the internet
I know.
to somebody who's never seen a computer.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing, right?
Yeah.
He was venturing into uncharted territory.
Yeah.
And just like the internet has reshaped our world in ways that no one could have predicted back then.
Right.
Imagine the impact of Tesla's world wireless system if it had been fully realized.
Yeah, a reality powered by free energy, which
He was really passionate about.
Yeah, that was a concept he was very passionate about. He believed that energy should be a basic human right, accessible to everyone.
Absolutely.
But this vision was not without its challenges.
It wasn't. It was a utopian ideal in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
But it really clashed with the economic realities
Of
of the time. You know, investors they couldn't understand how to monetize a system that essentially gave away its product for free.
Yeah. That's a tough one.
It is, and that was one of the big factors that led to the downfall of Wardenclyffe Tower.
Right.
His attempt to create this wireless power distribution system, it was just too far ahead of its time, both technologically and economically.
So in a way, Tesla's own idealism was his downfall.
It's possible.
Do you think he would have been more successful if he had been maybe a little more pragmatic?
You know, it's a really interesting question.
Yeah.
Maybe a more business-savvy approach
Yeah.
might have led to more financial success.
Right.
But on the other hand, it also might have stifled his creativity.
Right.
Right? I mean, Tesla was driven by this deep desire to expand human knowledge.
Yeah.
And to use science to improve people's lives.
Yeah.
And profit just wasn't his main motivator.
So his focus on innovation was admirable.
It was.
But it seems like it came at the expense of protecting his own intellectual property.
It did in some ways, yeah.
He faced setbacks not just from rivals like Edison,
Right.
but from those who capitalized on his ideas.
Yeah.
The radio saga is a prime example of that.
Absolutely.
Right.
The story of Tesla and radio, it's complicated.
Yeah.
You know, Tesla conceived of the idea
In 1892.
in 1892, but tragically, just as he was getting ready for this big demonstration, a fire destroyed his lab and years of work.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was a huge setback, and it allowed others like Guglielmo Marconi to kind of gain a foothold
In the race.
in the race for wireless communication.
So a devastating fire set the stage for one of the greatest scientific rivalries.
Yeah, it's quite a story.
How did this setback impact Tesla's work on radio? Did he ever manage to recover from the loss of his research?
Well, it was a devastating blow for sure, but Tesla, being Tesla, he didn't give up.
Right.
He kept refining his radio concepts and even demonstrated a remote-controlled boat
Oh, wow.
in 1898, which just amazed audiences.
Yeah.
And it really hinted at the possibilities of wireless technology.
Yeah.
But he often, he wasn't so good with the practicalities
Yeah.
of patenting and securing his inventions.
Right.
Which really hurt him in the long run
Yeah.
because it allowed others to kind of,
Capitalize
on his ideas.
Yeah. And his focus was always on pushing those boundaries,
Exactly.
not so much on the legalities of ownership.
Yeah, and that definitely contributed to the messy situation with Marconi
Right.
and the whole development of radio. Because even though Tesla held those early patents for these key radio technologies,
Okay.
Marconi's success with the first transatlantic radio message in 1901, that really shifted the public perception.
Yeah.
He even got the Nobel Prize
In 1911.
in 1911 for his work on radio, even though it relied heavily on Tesla's earlier inventions.
Wow. So it's a tough lesson.
It is. It shows that recognition and reward don't always go hand in hand with innovation.
Yeah. It's a reminder that even the most brilliant minds aren't immune to the complexities
Right.
of business and public perception.
Yeah, it's a complicated world out there.
It is. So do you think that this whole experience with radio shaped Tesla's approach with his later projects?
Potentially.
Like Wardenclyffe Tower?
It's hard to say for sure, but I think, the setbacks with radio, they probably reinforced his belief that true progress often comes at a personal cost.
Yeah.
And his vision for Wardenclyffe Tower was even grander than radio.
Right.
This was a truly global system, right?
Right.
He wasn't just trying to send messages. He wanted to create a network that could distribute energy wirelessly,
Wow.
illuminate the oceans, even control the weather.
I mean, that.
It was a concept so bold, so ahead of its time that it was hard for people to even imagine.
So Tesla was not just an inventor. He was a dreamer, a futurist.
Yeah, he was a visionary.
And he saw things that other people just couldn't fathom.
Absolutely.
But his ambition, and his disregard for financial security, those things ultimately led to his downfall.
They did, yeah. The funding for Wardenclyffe Tower dried up, the project was left unfinished, and it really tarnished his reputation.
His later years were marked by financial struggles and his health declined.
Yeah, it's sad. The weight of those unrealized dreams, it took its toll.
Yeah, but there were some glimmers of support.
There were.
Westinghouse, the company he helped save from bankruptcy, they stepped in and covered his hotel expenses.
Yeah, out of gratitude.
Yeah.
For his sacrifices.
It's a really nice gesture.
It is. It shows that there were people who really understood his genius.
Yeah, he spent his final days at the New Yorker hotel.
Surrounded by his inventions.
And his beloved pigeons.
Yeah, a brilliant mind finding solace in simple things.
Yeah.
Amidst a world that didn't always understand him.
So his death in 1943, at the age of 86, marked the end of an era.
It did. But his legacy continues to resonate with us today. I mean, we live in a world shaped by his innovations.
Right, a world connected by wireless technology, powered by electricity.
Yeah, and we're constantly pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
Just like he did. And his story serves as a powerful reminder that true genius often comes at a price. Tesla's struggles highlight the challenges faced by those who dare to dream big.
Those who dare to be different.
Yeah, and to hold on to their vision.
Even when others doubt them.
Exactly. And he teaches us that innovation requires not just brilliance, but resilience.
Yeah, that ability to bounce back from setbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think maybe the most important lesson from Tesla's life is to never stop pushing the boundaries of what we believe is possible.
I agree. To embrace that power of imagination.
Yeah.
And to ask ourselves, what will our contribution be? What will we leave behind?
It's a question worth thinking about. So as we conclude this deep dive into the world of Nikola Tesla, we invite you to continue exploring, questioning, and pushing the limits of your own imagination. You never know what wonders you might uncover.